Brazil's decision to introduce the Gripen E into its air force marks the most consequential shift in South American air power in decades. For years, Brazil relied on upgraded but aging platforms such as the F-5EM and the AMX-A1M, aircraft that were competent in their eras but no longer adequate against modern standoff weapons, low observable threats, or the vast surveillance requirements of the Amazon region. With the arrival of the Gripen E, officially designated the F-39E in Brazilian service, the country is signaling a long-term strategic transformation. Combining advanced air power with an industrial policy meant to elevate Brazil from a mere operator of imported systems to a genuine participant in high-technology defense manufacturing. Brazil's geography alone justifies such an investment. The nation must control two strategic spaces simultaneously. The first is the rainforest, commonly labeled the Green Amazon, a region larger than the entire European Union. It is difficult to police, riddled with environmental crime networks, and vulnerable to illegal air incursions from across long borders. The second is the Blue Amazon, Brazil's maritime zone of roughly 4.5 million square kilometers, covering key offshore oil fields and potential military choke points along the Atlantic. Both regions demand an aircraft capable of flying long distances, operating from dispersed bases, and tracking sophisticated threats in complex terrain. Traditional fighters, such as the F-5EM, simply could not meet this challenge. The selection of the Gripen E through the FX2 competition was the product of both operational and industrial logic. Brazil evaluated several major contenders, including the F-16V, the Rafale, the Eurofighter Typhoon, and the FA-18EF. Each offered high performance, but none matched the combination of favorable lifecycle costs, advanced sensors, and deep technology transfer that Saab placed on the table. Gripen E is not the heaviest or most expensive aircraft of its generation, but it is arguably the most adaptable and cost-efficient platform available to a middle power seeking to expand its domestic defense industry. The aircraft's sensor suite is one of the reasons Brazil chose it. The Raven ES-05 Mk2 radar is an active electronically scanned array optimized for long-range detection in high-humidity environments, a crucial advantage for operations over the Amazon. Together with its advanced infrared search and track system and its digital cockpit architecture, the Gripen E gives Brazilian pilots a level of situational awareness unmatched anywhere in South America. Its electronic warfare suite is equally important. Saab's integrated system is designed for threat detection, jamming, and self-protection in environments where ground-based radar coverage is inconsistent, which describes the Amazon region perfectly. Brazil needs aircraft that can protect themselves when operating far from major bases, and Gripen E satisfies that requirement. The weapons package further shifts the regional balance. The acquisition of the Meteor Beyond Visual Range missile gives Brazil the longest-reaching air-to-air engagement capability in the entire hemisphere. No neighboring air force currently fields anything comparable. For close-range aerial combat, the Iris-T provides high off-bore sight performance that dramatically improves the Gripen's lethality in dogfight scenarios. Brazil also intends to integrate the RBS-15 Mk3 anti-ship missile, transforming the Gripen into a powerful maritime strike asset capable of defending the Blue Amazon against surface threats. This combination of advanced missiles sets the Gripen E apart from all legacy fighters in the region. Yet the Gripen E is more than the sum of its sensors and weapons. Brazil places great emphasis on operational flexibility. The Air Force must operate from dispersed locations, including short or improvised runways near the rainforest. The Gripen's ability to take off and land in short distances, combined with its relatively low maintenance demands, makes it ideal for such dispersed operations. Countries with challenging geography, from Sweden to Finland, have long valued this capability. Brazil is taking the same approach, aiming to build a resilient air defense network that is difficult to disable even in crisis. Industrial participation is another decisive pillar. Brazil insisted that the FX2 program include deep technology transfer and opportunities for domestic manufacturing. Embraer plays a central role in producing airframe components, integrating systems, and assembling aircraft. This gives Brazilian engineers exposure to advanced composite materials, aerodynamic design, software integration, and electronic warfare technologies. Over time, this will strengthen Brazil's defense industry and reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. The Gripen E program is therefore not just a procurement deal, but a strategic investment in national capability. From a geopolitical perspective, the Gripen E fundamentally alters the balance of air power in South America. Most regional air forces are struggling to modernize. Argentina has attempted to purchase F-16A/B fighters, but budget constraints and supply chain issues complicate the effort. Colombia is exploring a mix of F-16 and Eurofighter options, while Peru has shown interest in South Korea's KF-21. None of these plans have materialized into concrete forces yet. As a result, Brazil becomes the only country in South America fielding a fourth-and-a-half-generation fighter with advanced air-to-air missiles such as Meteor. This advantage grants Brazil substantial deterrence and cements its status as the region's military heavyweight. The Gripen E also supports Brazil's naval strategy. The Blue Amazon contains vital offshore oil reserves, and Brazil wants to secure these assets against external pressure. As the Navy introduces new submarines, such as the Riachuelo class, and pursues the Álvaro Alberto nuclear submarine program, the Air Force must provide complementary surveillance and strike capabilities. Gripen E, equipped with maritime radar modes and long-range anti-ship missiles, can serve as a force multiplier for naval operations, offering both early warning and precision engagement options. There is also the question of future expansion. Brazil currently plans for an initial batch of 36 aircraft, but internal defense planning documents suggest a potential requirement for 60 to 72 units across the 2030s. This reflects not only the size of the national territory, but the expectation that older platforms like the AMX and F-5 will eventually be retired entirely. A full fleet of Gripens would give Brazil consistent air coverage across both the rainforest and maritime zones, ensuring a credible rapid response capability. The long-term modernization pathway is equally important. Saab designed the Gripen E for modular upgrades, allowing Brazil to integrate new weapons, sensors, and software updates without major structural changes. This gives the Air Force confidence that it can keep the aircraft relevant into the 2040s. Even as new technologies such as artificial intelligence-enabled targeting and autonomous systems become more widespread. The combination of upgradability, low life cycle cost, and industrial cooperation makes Gripen E a sustainable choice for Brazil. Viewed through a strategic lens, Brazil is not simply buying a new fighter, it is reshaping its national defense architecture. The Gripen E enhances air superiority, reinforces maritime defense, and ensures surveillance of the world's largest tropical forest. It strengthens the domestic industrial base and gives Brazil freedom of action in its foreign policy, without reliance on any single major power. In a region where most states are struggling to maintain aging fleets, Brazil is moving ahead decisively, building the foundation for a modern and independent air force. The Gripen E, therefore, is not merely a new aircraft, but a symbol of Brazil's long-term ambition to secure its territory, project stability in South America, and elevate itself as a technologically advanced and strategically autonomous actor on the global stage.